All right, we're now taking a look at the main thing that I do from north-south, which is looking for Kimura control. Kimuras are not a submission that you see at the high level, black belts versus black belts, but we see Kimuras being used all the time because they're extremely versatile and you can use them to set up arm bars and other submissions. You can use them to take the back, which is what I usually do. It's extremely beneficial to get good at proper Kimura control. To get the Kimura going, typically people are going to be pushing up against you in north-south, which is what makes the north-south choke very difficult. So we start looking to isolate immediately from there. However, if he's keeping his arms in super tight and he's just like, fuck you, I'm not going to give these to you, well then we have to start to attack the neck, which then draws the hands to defend it in some way. As those elbows lift, the great thing about north-south is it creates a very dominant angle for us to have room to work around. Here, Corey keeps himself nice and tight. Like even here, you can see his elbow is slightly off the mat because it's right up against his ribs here. So from north-south, my ability to take my arm and bring this as a wedge to cut in between, I'm not choking you there, am I?
No.
Okay. Cutting through here, so I keep the arm nice and tight, Corey. There. That's all I need. As soon as I got that, I can now start attacking the arm. So this is what's so great from here, especially on the far side, being able to do this. On the near side, same thing, because especially if I start attacking this arm, Corey's going to start trying to turn away from me and hiding his elbow. So as soon as he does this, this arm will now start to become more exposed. Now obviously if I'm over top like this on his arm, it's going to be a little more difficult for me to set that stuff up. It does put me in good positions to still be able to move up and go into mount and then possibly start looking at attacking this arm, like going into like an armbar territory. But even just by me taking this arm, like the ability for me to overhook like this and control elbows is extremely effective. So what I need to do, depending on where his arm is, it could be here, it could be here, I don't really care. My job is just to bring this arm up onto his stomach and control it, lift my elbow off the mat. So if he tries to withdraw the arm right now, he can't. What I need to do is I need to start putting a little more base on this side, because what I need to do is I'm going to start putting more resources into attacking his left arm. So I'm going to start bringing my hips across. I'm going to step over. Here I can be on my foot or I can start dropping down to my knee. But what I want to do is have live toes, and I'm going to be able to now start bringing myself up to my knees. So I'm going to be able to start taking my arm, and I'm reaching for his wrist right now, and I'm getting the grip of the wrist already so I can connect. I'm looking to embrace him, not push him away in this circumstance because of my dominant position. So I'm going with a monkey grip. Monkey's pull, C's push for your grips. So I'm not trying to push him away here. I'm not trying to deal with too much grip breaking. I'm just looking to get the grip to embrace it, so then I can connect into the Kimura, in which my arm's coming around, underneath by the elbow, connected to my forearms, my wrists stay nice and locked. By me getting this control, I'm now looking to extend my arms out, punching my arms and his hand to his near hip, because the near hip is what creates the biggest opening of his elbow here. And we're looking to internally rotate the shoulder with the Kimura. By me getting this now, if Corey tries to keep his back on the mat, I'm able to use lever-based rotational control, turn him away, and I move into a chair sit to take the back. I'm not looking to get into like great detail with like the Kimura as well as like the different options from there. But if we can get to the Kimura, then that's still just to give you guys that food for thought of how we can start using it for other things. So here, his arms in tight, even if it's here, like it's tight, it's not the easiest thing for me to get at. I just make sure I break his posture, because the more I twist him up, the better, like the weaker he's gonna be. And I start bringing this arm underneath. Even here, I'm going palm up, grab him towards his forearm like this, just to get that false grip here. So if he tries to bring his elbow away from me in any kind of way, all I need is that wedge where I'm starting to now open his elbow up away from his body. I can even stay more on my side if I wanted to, almost like a twisted side control, where now I can grab at his forearm here if I wanted to. If it's too high up, like this, I could use a C grip now to push his wrist down like this. Now I can start to secure the Kimura itself. Whether I can push the arm away, but he's probably not going to let that happen, so he's going to keep it tight. I need to put base over to this side of his body now. So I'm going to switch my hips, go here, so that now I can extend my arms. So I'm using frames to access the lever and push him away, which now creates that space behind his back so that I'm able to take the back, or I can start looking at now dropping onto his head to break his posture and moving straight into arm lock territory. If I, for some reason, feel like I can't quite get the arms, which it's quite difficult for your opponent to stop that completely because you have the option of attacking both arms and you can adjust and you can be on the one side of your opponent's body and then move to the other side. You got a lot of room to work with. But if he's not giving you anything, or if he's keeping his arms extremely low, or maybe he's putting his elbows on the actual mat like this, and he's keeping his hands low like this, and it's taking their ball and going home because of the rule set. This is not a good structure for fighting, but Corey knows that I want that elbow, and I'm like, crap, I can't get it. But his hands are so low that now I can start to attack. This is what has to happen. As soon as he starts to defend the choke in some way, whether it's this, or very commonly you're gonna get somebody pushing up on your head and putting their forearm across the neck, you're like, fuck, I can't get this now. But what ends up happening is I can now attack much easier on the near side. So that's what we're kind of looking for. Like, you can do either side, but obviously my left arm is deep under his head. I'd have to let this go to now go behind his elbow here. It's quite a distance to travel. But if I'm doing this, and because I'm applying this choke, I can also, when this arm comes up the frame in some way, like this usually, I can emphasize a twisting pressure into his head, which is gonna help lift his right shoulder even further off the mat. And I look to control this. I'm just backing, I'm just creating a wedge behind the back of his elbow here, so if he tries to pull it back, he can't. I don't care if it's in my neck still, because I'm gonna be backing away from this to take it away. So here, Corey trying to get that elbow back. I'm controlling this, there. I still have it. I'm even lacing my arm all the way through. I can use like the back of my wrist here to kind of block at his forearm here. And now if I wanted to, I can release. I start securing this Kimura. Here I'm keeping a bent arm, because I need to create that backstop behind his elbow here. So that if he's still trying to get that elbow away from me, I'm now able to look to push him away. I chair sit, bringing my knee up by his head, sitting on my hip. I have lots of space now to throw this leg over. And I go to the back. With that Kimura control, which then now just sets up a lot of powerful things. So we have to draw a response from the hands. North-south, you have a dominant angle that allows you to attack the arm successfully and get those grips around it. But if you don't have that ability, if your opponent's kind of taking the ball and going home and being like, no, you're not getting this on me, then have that north-south choke in your back pocket so that you're able to draw the hands, then you can get that Kimura. So that's the main thing I want to do. So especially for Martha, because she was asking me for some north-south material, I don't really get too complicated with the different chokes from there and the different other attacks that can potentially be done from north-south. Keeping a small pocket of really good techniques that tie in and intersect other systems that you create is obviously going to be a very effective and efficient way of training. So for me, I try and funnel everything to Kimura control. If I can get Kimura control from any position, that then also will get me to my arm bars, which is one of my #1 submissions and positions, as well as back control, then those are the places that I want to get into if we're not taking into account like the leg lock battles. So for me, it's always about arm bars and back attacks. I use the north-south to get the arms, to get that Kimura control for the lever-based rotational control, and then the fight is hopefully going to be over from there.